Hello, and welcome to Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. I am your host, Carolyn Mills. So, it's been a bit of a long day today. As those of you who listen regularly probably know, I'm deaf and um, obviously I speak. I do prefer to use ASL when I have the chance to, but and I rely on it since I don't hear. So that works better for me. Because reading lips can be exhausting, even though I know how. And I've been having some issues with some doctors who simply do not want to provide interpreters. And the law says they have to. So that's been kind of annoying. And I've been dealing like sending out complaints with like the human rights people and some other people who are working on that all day. So it's been a bit of a long day. I'm now taking a break. I told them I was like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this until next week. I need a break. So that's what's been going on. And I think it was not this past week, but the week before, the Friday before, I lost a friend. His funeral was this week, so that was a little bit hard. Just a lot going on. Um, yeah, and I'm kind of looking forward to doing this podcast. Nice little break. So let's get into it. We're looking at Cheers Season 3, Episode 11, Peterson, Crusoe. It first aired December 13th, 1984. It was directed by James Burrows. It was written by David Angle, and as we know, he passed away in 2011 and or sorry, 2001 in the 9/11 attacks. Guest cast: Howard Goodwin as Mark, Michael Griswold as Conrad, Joe Marzilli as Joe. John Marzilli, sorry. Reading up so much up. John Marzilli as Joe. Cheers is filmed in front of a live studio audience. I believe this one was said by John Ratzenberger. I tried to get confirmation from one of my Facebook Cheers groups and I haven't heard back. So if anybody knows for sure and could clarify. So if I'm wrong, I could fix it next week and then hopefully I'm right and I won't need to fix anything. It didn't come up on my caption thing like some of the times they do. It'll say who's saying it. This one didn't come up. But I like I can't hear what voices say. It's hard to explain. I don't hear the actual voices. As I told you, I don't hear my own voice. I wear the what are these called? Headphones, just because of the look. It looks makes it look more official. But I hear sounds. So the sound in that sound range sounded like his sound range. So I think maybe that's yeah. So let's go into our summary. Our cold open. Diane gets every drink order wrong. Carla tells her that she stinks as a waitress. Diane says if she tried, she would be a much better waitress than Carla. And I was thinking when she said if I tried, and Sam's standing there in the bar because he later, well, we'll get to it. He says he doesn't care. But if I was Sam, I would be kind of annoyed, honestly, um, to have my waitress saying I'm not even trying. Like this job's just a bunch of crap. I'm only here. Well, first she came because she nobody hired her anywhere else, and as we know, that's how she got there. And then after the breakup in the beginning of season 3, she comes back because of his drinking, and Coach manipulates them all to so that she'll stay. Um, but she's saying I'm not even trying. I mean, that just it doesn't even sound like a Diane thing. Like Diane's like an overachiever, so her not trying seems weird. But I would be annoyed if I was Sam to hear that. They make a bet to see who can get the most tips by closing. Carla gives Diane a $10 head start. They want Sam to judge, but he says he doesn't care. Coach offers to do it, and they agree. Where everybody knows your name plays. This is one of those episodes where the cold open continues into the actual episode. Norm comes in looking depressed and almost catatonic. George Wendt does an awesome job in this scene. He really does kind of look like he's catatonic. He's just like totally not like paying attention. He's just robotically reacting, but not really quite there. Sam suggests he sits down, so Norm sits on the floor near the door. Sam, Diane, and Cliff go over to him. Sam asks him what's wrong, and Norm explains that they found a spot on his chest during an x-ray for his physical at work. Sam and Cliff help him up to a chair at a table. Sam says these things happen all the time, and usually they come to nothing. Norm responds, we all come to nothing, Sam. I'm just going to get there a little sooner. Diane says Norm has his friends. The phone rings. Carla answers, and it's Vera. Norm takes the call and learns that she heard from the doctor. Norm is okay, and it was actually a spot on the x ray machine, not on his chest. He is relieved, as are the others in the bar. Norm says he's going to go for a walk and spend time with a man he's not paid enough attention to lately, Norm Peterson. Diane says that she understands. Coach replies, well, I don't, but I'm sure you'll explain it to me later. Early in the episode, Coach explains that people are always saying, I'll explain it to you later. So that's why there's this recurring, like, running theme thing going on with this. It is near closing time. Carla is ahead by $9. But Diane says goodnight to a couple who are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Diane got a $20 tip and wins the contest. Carla is upset she lost. She had a $10 head start, and by the end she was ahead by $9, and she won by the she she got that $20 tip. Sorry, Carl was ahead by $9. She gets a $20 tip, so that means she won by 11. So even without that $10 tip, she would have still won by a dollar. Assuming my math is right, and I don't like numbers, so it could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I got that right. As always, feel free to correct me. Cliff returns. He says that he found Norm sitting in a vegetable garden to smell the roses or the squash. Cliff says that Norm went down to the pier, adding, I shudder to think what he wants to smell down there. Good line. Norm comes in with a bird that looks like it might be a warbler. I looked it up actually. There are warblers in Boston, and the picture that I found looked just like the bird that he had, so I'm pretty sure that is a warbler that he had. He explains to the birds that people in the bar should be pitied because they are unable to soar free. He opens the door and tells the bird, soar, little guy, soar, soar. Norm announces that he's sailing for Bora Bora. Diane asks him about his passport and shots. Norm explains that he has his passport, and you don't need shots to go to Bora Bora because they don't have any disease there. Carlos says lunacy is on its way. Sam asks him about the new job, and Norm calls the boss to let him know that he won't be coming in since he's moving to Bora Bora to live in a hut. Norm takes off his tie and jacket and puts them on the bar stool. He tells Sam to give them to some poor soul who needs them. Sam tells him that people don't drop everything and sail away to Bora Bora. Norm replies, I do. Coach hugs Norm. Cliff is convinced that Norm is playing a joke on them. Norm takes his shoes off, explaining, wingtips are for accountants. I'm a beachcomber now. Norm leaves. Cliff holds the shoes and whimpers, Normie's gone. I like that scene too with Cliff. Um, well, he is his best friend, but the way he's just holding those shoes when it suddenly realizes that this guy's leaving. A man compliments Carl on her waitressing. She explains before the trouble she was so good. People came from miles around to see her schlep drinks. Diane feels badly as it's been weeks and Carl is still not over losing the bet. Coach comes from Sam's office and they've gotten another letter from Norm. Sam reads the letter and says ha ha after every line. And then he explains Norm put in the ha ha's himself. Norm is impressed. Sorry, Diane is impressed by Norm's courage. She quotes Henry David Thoreau: "Life is frittered away by detail. Simplify, simplify." Coach Ron wonders why he didn't just say one simplify. He's not wrong. That would have been simpler. Cliff inspects the postmark on the letter and he's satisfied that it did indeed come from Bora Bora. Carla puts a drink order in. She adds, "Don't worry, I'll wait till the good waitress gets her order." Diane admits Carla is the better waitress. She asks Carla what it would take to make her feel better. Carla says, "To hear you say you cheated." Diane says that she didn't cheat, but finally concedes and says, "Okay, Carla, I cheated." Carla calls Diane sick, and Diane replies, "I did not cheat." Carla says, "First she says she cheated, then she says she didn't. What are we supposed to believe?" Diane decides she will let it go because she knows she's not a cheater. And then she begins to explain the truth to all the customers. And this is so perfectly Diane right here, where she says she's going to let it go, but she's so neurotic that she can't let it go. I had a conversation, Matt Jarrett, I don't interview, but I do the recaps with. We were talking about this, and I don't remember if it was in one of the episodes that you guys saw or if it was on Messenger. But we're comparing Diane and I was said Diane and Shelley, Diane and Rebecca, and I've actually come to realize Rebecca's always been known for her neuroticism. Uh, she breaks down crying at the drop of a hat. She's the crying neurotic, but Diane is very much also a neurotic. She's does not have confidence in herself. She always has to try to correct others to make herself feel better. And she has the facial tick. Yeah, very much neurotic. And you see that here where she's got to tell everyone because she can't just let it go, even though she says she's going to. And admittedly, Carl was wrong. She shouldn't have made her. But then again, Diane chose to do it to help her. So she could have said, stand her ground, say, no, I won fair and square. But she did it, and Carl used it. And we all knew that was going to happen. Sam goes into his office. Norm comes out of the back room in the office. Sam jumps. He asks Norm why he's not in Bora Bora. I was wondering when this came out, seeing as I was only 4, I hadn't started watching the show yet, so I would have seen this in reruns when I finally saw it. Um, I started watching and with the 200th episode, as I told you. When this episode came out, did people think George Wendt was leaving the cast? I haven't heard anything about that, but the fact that he was gone for pretty much a good chunk of the show, the middle of the show there, he leaves in the beginning and comes back at the end. Well, he's found at the end, I should say. So did people happen to think that maybe George Wendt was leaving the cast at this point? Did they know what was going on? I was just curious. So anybody that has can enlighten us on that, please feel free to send an email or contact in any other methods I'll show at the end, of course. And I'd appreciate that. Norm explained he chickened out, just like everyone said he would. He's been hiding in Sam's office over only for the last week, however. Norm suggests he can just stay there forever. Sam can let him in first thing in the morning and then let him out in the evening after everybody goes home. Sam replies, just like I always did. I'm curious also, how did he get in the office? I think this was before he had the key made. That was the rec year, so I don't think he had it made yet. Um, so I'm not sure how he even got into the office. And then I also wondered, did Coach somehow know what was going on? But that seems like he would have given something away because he comes out of the office and he brings the mail. And it's weird that he brings the mail from the office with, it seems like, I mean, it's Sam's bar. Sam should be the one going through the mail. And it's not like somebody delivered the mail to the office. These are the things I wonder about. Sam says he understands how Norm feels, but the people in the bar are his friends. Norm agrees to go out. Sam opens the door and they hear Cliff toasting Norm. Sam says to Norm, the sofa folds out into a bed. Diane is still explaining to people that she didn't cheat when Sam comes out of the office. Sam says Norm did not really need to go to Bora Bora for us to respect him. Carl and another customer disagree. Carla realizes that Norm is in the office. Sam says he's not. Carla says, if he's not there, he won't mind me doing this, and hits the door hard with her tray. Another scene I didn't quite get. It's not like the store's a what's that called? Like a flap door. I don't know if that's the right word. That just flings back and forth. It actually you have to open, and we see that in a later episode too in the Rebecca years. Where she has trouble getting it open. So why would the hitting the door hurt unless she suspected he was already eavesdropping, which apparently he was. But even then, it's just a tray. Would tray make that much noise? I don't know. I don't know physics. I really don't. So just some things I wondered. Where am I? All right. Norm opens the door and tells them that's the last you're going to see of Norm Peterson. Cliff is angry. I found this a little bit. I feel like people are more angry in this season. Everybody's always pissed off at somebody else. But it's weird that Cliff is angry that he didn't go because he didn't want him to go to begin with. So you think he'd be relieved that his best friend's not missing, or not gone, I should say. Sam explains that Norm is afraid of being laughed at. Diane says everyone has a dream they let slip away. She tells him about her dream to become a ballerina. Coach shares his dream too. Cliff then tells Norm about his dream. He wanted to be a trapeze artist in the circus. He says, having a dream is not stupid. It's not having them that's stupid. I really like that line. It's quite true, actually. Carla says, what's stupid is that picture of you in one of those outfits. This is again also true. Norm comes out of the office to defend Cliff. The two good naturedly rib each other with names like Ferdinand Magelli Belly and the Flying Rear Enda. I gave this episode 3 out of 5 beer nuts. I'm not really a fan of this episode. It seemed random and out of place to me. Like I could see, like I said, the reason I asked about the thing with George Wednesday, people, audience members, fans of the show thought that he was leaving or anything because it sounds like a setup for somebody to leave a show. But then, in fact, he doesn't. It just seemed very weird, random. I had to do co MVPs with Rio Perlman and George Wendt. Rio Perlman, uh, whole playing up the I lost, you won, please just say you cheated, then going over it. She does it really well. And George Wendt does the A storyline really well, of course. From like I said, when he comes in and he's almost catatonic and he just sits down on the floor. Um, and his reaction to his friends teasing him, even the end with him getting back and him and Cliff making up or whatever. I mean, the whole thing, he does a really good job. The best dressed I gave to Real Perlman. I really like this outfit. The top that she has on here. It's a nice top, very 80s-ish. Grand slam line between, well, Coach is talking to Norm through the door, but the lines are between Coach and Sam. I wanted to play baseball and then coach a little, and afterwards maybe tend a bar in a nice place. And look what happened to me. Coach, that is exactly what happened to you. Oh, yeah. No wonder I'm such a happy guy. On baseline between Norm and Coach, when Norm's getting ready to leave, he hugs Coach and says, you don't under sorry, start over. He says, you understand, don't you, Coach? No, but they'll explain it to me later. Here's a little known fact. The title, Peterson Crusoe, is a reference to the book Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. Robinson Crusoe spent 28 years on an island near Venezuela before he was finally rescued. If you like this episode, oh, I'm talking, I'm going to turn this off. If you like this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, all those things that one does when they're listening to podcasts. Okay, now I can talk. And you can join the Facebook group at Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. You can follow us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter X at One Woman Opinion. Again, no S because it wouldn't let me. Reddit Cheers Rewatch Podcast. And email cheers at let me do that one again. Email us at cheers one woman's opinion podcast at gmail.com. Next week we'll be looking at Cheers season 3 episode 12 Addiction Time, and that'll also bring us to the halfway mark at the end of that episode. We'll be about halfway through. Also on Monday, next week, there will be a bonus episode. I will be interviewing, and I hope I'm saying her name right. I'm going to find out before I interview her officially. Helene, Helene, there we go. I think it's Helene Udi from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. That was actually my favorite drama series, and she played Myra Bing. So I'm getting to talk to her. Looking forward to that. If you have any questions, um, comments, concerns, etc. Oh, I already did that. Tell me it's been a long day. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask Miss Udi, about her time on Dr. Quinn or anything else, please email me again at I piled them up at cheers one woman's opinion podcast at gmail.com. You can send on any other the other ones that I sent too. That's fine. But please send them by Sunday, as the interview will be on Monday, and it will go up later that day after I interview her. And that's one woman's opinion. Thank you.